Okay. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call us to order. It is 5:30 in the evening, and as we have a reputation for punctuality to uphold, we will begin. I will begin by asking Ms. Campbell, since Councilor Sullivan doesn't seem to be with us this evening, to lead us in an invocation, and I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go on from there. Everybody please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you just giving you honor, glory, and praise. We thank you, Lord God, for another chance to come together as a community and as a community of leaders to consider what we can do to make this place an even better place for all. Let our hearts be connected. Let our thoughts be clear. Help us to be unified in all that we do tonight. Please be with our citizens. Be with those who are in mourning, Lord God. Be with those who are in the midst of making large decisions. We bless you. We honor you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, good evening, everyone. The first item up on our agenda this evening is a few opening remarks. Now, I just want to give you all a report about a few of the things going on. And as part of that, I'm going to call upon a few of us gathered here to say a couple words. I'll begin tonight by sharing with you the good news that we were pleased to receive a grant from the Attorney General's office for our Victims Advocate. That grant paid for the Victims Advocate's entire annual salary. So that was unexpected, but we are terribly grateful to the Attorney General's office in the state of South Carolina for helping out with that. It's an incredibly important service that we provide to victims in our city, victims of crime. We want to give thanks to Woodman Life and our own Councilor Bolt for his work in getting flags for us for our new renovations to the police department and municipal building just up the hill. Thank you, Councilor Bolt, for your work on that. And we look forward to cutting the ribbons on those soon. We have had the first of 4 garbage trucks delivered as part of council's action earlier this year to get back in the trash business and purchase new garbage trucks. The next one is scheduled for delivery next week, and the remaining 2 trucks will arrive in 2 separate deliveries shortly thereafter. The police department wing of our municipal building renovations are scheduled to be completed by the end of this week. Our priority is to have the police department be able to vacate the space that they're in on the 2nd floor of the Truist building and get into the new building. We don't want city council to have to wait for too much longer, but from an operational standpoint, we're making sure we load on the coal when it comes to getting the police department renovations done. We are hoping to be in the building as a whole by mid-October. We have already moved the city network over to that building to City Hall over the weekend without incident. So that required us to put some new fiber infrastructure in with the help of PRTC, but that circuit is at City Hall and working properly. We are happy to let everyone know that we have been notified that our TAP grant for improvements to local sidewalks has reached the second phase of the approval process, and that is progressing nicely. We hope to have good news to share about that sooner than later. We have applied for a hometown economic grant. If council will remember, we recently passed a resolution that confirmed that we would engage in a local match if we were to receive this grant, not match, but contribution, I should say, for a digital kiosk, which would be located downtown to be able to get public notice for meetings, to advertise special events, really bring the way we notice the public into the 21st century, and make tourism a little bit easier. So that application has been submitted. We hope to have good news on that soon. We are looking for local candidates, and by local I mean within the city limits, to serve on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Council may be aware, we reset boards and appointed members to that board. That particular board has the unique distinction of being the only city board which requires the residents to live within the city limits. And so that was brought to our attention, and we want to reappoint members that will meet the requirements of the ordinance, obviously. And so if there's anyone within the sound of my voice that is interested, or council knows of anybody they think would be well qualified to serve, please let us know.
How many slots?
Streets and sanitation facility is progressing nicely. The demo of the old building is, interior anyway, is complete. I actually went by there this afternoon to check out progress there. That project will move pretty quickly, and so at least the substantial part of that should be completed by the time we have our next council meeting. That's what we're shooting for anyway. I'd like to announce that I have a public meeting that I'm welcoming folks to. I'm calling it Meet the Mayor. But tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock at Courthouse Coffee, I just want to meet folks, answer questions. If you got a concern, let me know. If there's stuff we're doing well, it'd be good to pass that praise along to some of our hardworking departments. If there's stuff we can improve on, it's a good time to let me know that. But sometimes it can be a little difficult in a setting like this to sort of have in-depth conversations. So I wanted to, it's something I wanted to do for a while, and then of course COVID got in the way of public gatherings. But this has been on my to-do list, and so this is what I hope will be the first of many such gatherings. And we'll do it all around town. At this time, I would like to recognize Mr. Bolt for a word of remembrance.
Yeah. I've been working in the courthouse for probably 22, 23 years, and I've had a friend that's been working with me during that time. Bobby Hare, some of you may know him, Dina Hare's dad, and she worked at Martha. She was the first employee for Martha Franks when Martha Franks started, so she worked with Martha Franks. But anyway, Bobby celebrated his 90th birthday last week, and he passed away today. And he was a real close friend of mine, and I'd just like for people that knew him to remember the family during the loss of their loved one, and he meant a lot to me. And so remember him in your prayers when you pray anytime that, I had worked with him for like 20 years or so at the courthouse. And some of you may know him and some of you may not, but just remember the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bolt. I think I can speak for all city council saying we are sorry for your loss and for the loss of the Hare family. So we appreciate that word. It is also my pleasure tonight, on a happier note, to welcome someone who I hope is a familiar face to us all, Mr. Paul Odell. Mr. Odell asked to be with us tonight because we gave some recognition to him at our July 3rd celebration, and as I understand it, he wanted to say something to us. Mr. Odell? Who, by the way, just celebrated his 100th birthday between now and then. 101, excuse me. 101.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members, Madam Secretary, and all. I'd like to say thanks to you for you sparing a few minutes to give me a little opportunity to show to you the evidence of what's been going on since I was awarded those awards that the mayor mentioned at the celebration. I didn't take it home and put it in the drawer and close it up. It immediately went to moving about. It has traveled a long ways. And I want to say how much I appreciate it, the awards, the recognitions and everything. I didn't say much that night. I had my mind going so different from what they were doing. And things were happening so way and all. And I did write a letter to the editor, the Lawrence Advertiser. I hope you understand, because I wanted everybody to know how grateful I was. How grateful I was for it. And my family also. My daughter's with me here tonight. They've taken care of me in my 101 years. And so I have a lot to be thankful for. The good Lord has blessed me all the way through. Friends, I have friends all over the world. Thankful. When I went in the Army in World War II, I said I was going to make the best of it. I went to England for 10 months before introducing to friends. I made friends in England. I had a lady friend who was doing my laundry for me. That's right. You won't believe it. I met English people. Yeah, I made friends with them. And I went back, when the war was over with, I went back and visited with them. And then when we went into France, you know, they got some beautiful women there. And they had a couple of families. They invited me to their homes, and every week. I made visits into, the weekends, made visits into the homes, and communicated up until I married. They had to stop me. So that's the way it was. I tried to make friends. But I want to say, about this awards and what's been done, when my son lived in Chapin, the first time he came up in a few days, I showed it to him, and I told him I wanted to take it and have it framed. He said, sure, we'll take it. So he and his wife, they carried it to a frame shop in Columbia. And my daughter-in-law, she picked it out. I'm trying to say something now, that my entire family was grateful for it, and they all take the part in doing something, and carrying me and so forth. See about this, everything. So they had it made, and I kept asking, son, I said, you ever get my award back for free? All back? He said, no, they didn't call me. They didn't call me. But then I had a birthday coming up, 14th of August, which I was 101. And They gave it to me for my birthday. It was a gift from them for my birthday this week. So they brought it back, and I said, well, I need to meet with city council and let them see it. And just what has resulted from our efforts and all. So I would like perhaps for one of you, Ms. Miller, some of you, if you could just take it and pass it around and let everyone see it, because I'm limited with my walk and everything. Like to see what's been done.
Awesome. Very good, very good.
And I might go on to say that it's still not gonna be put in a drawer. My daughter right here, she's already picked out the space in the den for the hang. Where it's gonna hang. And every person that comes and visits our home, that they gonna see it.
That's right.
They're gonna see it. Not bragging for me, but just to show what the people of the community thinks. That's your doings. I mean, you brought all that about. You did. Yes, sir. And I'm just so thankful for it. That's about the end of that, as far as I know. And I'll take it back home. My son is back, and I can't think of it.
You're good, I tell you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I remember you when I was younger. Mr. Paul O'Neill, your name will always ring in Lawrence County. Yeah. In the city of Lawrence. Thank you for all your service.
I've been around Lawrence County. I've been in the service, like or whatever, all my life. I've been serving.
You've been a servant.
I started serving. Keep on. And so really got into the county. 28 years. In the election board, 1946. I associated with the courthouse and all. 47 years. 47 years. Not bragging. People make you
Blessed.
People make you talk. I'm grateful to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got to go to the other place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. I don't believe anybody could have said it better. Mr. Odell, we appreciate your service. Thank you for joining us this evening. I wanted to also just make one quick introduction before I end my little portion this evening. Tonight we have with us, I believe, Mr. Craig Sharton, who is our new Main Street Director. I don't know how many of y'all have had a chance to meet him, but I wanted to introduce him this evening. And Mr. Sharton, please come and say hello just for a moment.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all. I'm really thrilled to be working alongside you in the effort of revitalizing beautiful downtown Lawrence. You've all made incredible progress. It's evident by the love that people have put into some of the recent building renovations. And the businesses who are here, I've had a great joy meeting with them, and looking forward to working with all of you. I have found over the years that a revitalized downtown signals to the world that a community has learned to work together, because there is no way for any person or group to do it on their own. It really takes public and private, it takes nonprofits and faith, it takes education, banks, everyone all working together to really make a downtown achieve all it's capable of achieving. So that's what I like to do. I'm not here to revitalize downtown. I'm here to use the 4 points of the Main Street program to help organize the revitalization. It's really everyone in the community that does the work, from the businesses, property owners, volunteers, and everyone. So I feel very lucky to get to do this kind of work, and I feel especially lucky to do it in your community, as it also becomes my community as well. So I'll understand if after a while, when you see me on the sidewalk, if you cross the street to the other side, because I will be trying to pull everyone onto our design and promotion and economic vitality committees, or getting people to sign up for event volunteers or selling tickets to the historical museum or whatever it might be. But I'll tell you in advance, I'm pretty persistent, so even if you change sides, I'll probably chase you till I get you engaged. So I don't know if you have any questions for me. I've been doing this work for almost all of my life, and I made a pledge to myself when I was 19 and saw my grandparents' neighborhood go from great to just being completely trashed, and our downtown from beautiful where everyone dressed up to a place that had 1 million square feet of vacant space, that I was going to find out what went wrong, and I was going to learn from cities all over the country, and I was going to bring those lessons to bear in the cities where I work to help them achieve their desired results. So I don't want to take much time. I know you got public business, but you can ask me any questions, or I will be looking forward to meeting with all of you and looking to see what your priorities are for your districts and the community.
Thank you.
And I'll remind council, as part of our new memorandum of understanding with Main Street, we have a little bit more standardized schedule for Main Street coming and making reports to the city, so we'll have plenty of opportunities for plenty of questions. But teamwork ongoing. Last little thing I want to mention is council has with its packet a proclamation that I issued for the coming month for October. It is Disability Employment Awareness Month in October, not just here in the city of Lawrence, but nationally. And disabilities come in all shapes and forms. We have individuals working with the city of Lawrence that have suffered or who suffer from disabilities, or maybe I should say are specially abled. But it was a pleasure to get together with representatives from all over the county to really take a stand to say that we want to have a community which is inclusive for everyone and where we are supportive of everyone, no matter what their particular personal challenges. There's a place for everyone, and we want them to reach their full potential. So just glad to be part of that and continue to, we will continue to prioritize that as a city. I would encourage the community to do their part in looking for ways where we can take differently abled people and put them to work and allow them to achieve their potential. All right, that takes us to our public comment period. And my understanding is that Ms. Alexis Peterson has signed up for public comment. Ms. Peterson.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Peterson. I'm the daughter of Charles Peterson, and my family is coming to you guys today. And thank you guys for this time as well. My father, Charles Peterson, was a member of this community. He graduated from Lawrence High, and after he graduated, he was drafted to the Pirates. Since then, his passing in 2020 has been something that our family has mourned with the city of Lawrence. His funeral had possibly, I guess, about 1,000 people there. He made lots of charitable donations to Lawrence County. he was just someone that basically contributed to the growth of Lawrence County, facilitating, after-school activities for the youth, different things of that nature. His loss was really felt by the city of Lawrence. So what our family is asking is that Lawrence dedicate a street that is currently Cemetery Street. And change it to Charles Peterson Jr. Drive. Some of his other accomplishments are he was named Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball for the state of South Carolina. Just a lot of athletic accolades. He donated to Lawrence High and volunteered as the Spring Valley head coach. And again, we know this is something that wouldn't take place overnight, but we just appreciate you guys, helping my family create a memorial for someone that was really beneficial to Lawrence and contributed greatly to, I think, the success it has now. And visibility, he was drafted in '93 from the major leagues, and that was something I think, contributed greatly to the success of the high school. I know I only have 3 minutes, so I want to give my grandmother an opportunity to say something.
Yes, I'm Charles Peterson mother. And growing up as a child, I didn't have no problems. When you get teenagers, you run into problems sometimes. I never did have any of that because I used to threaten everybody. You're not going to play ball, you're not going to do this. So he would always do right. Because I took that baseball and football to threaten with, because I know he loved sports. And he would always get it together. But I thank you all for listening. There's plenty more that I could say, but we don't have the 3 minutes. And I do thank you, Mayor, the county council, the city council members for this opportunity for me and my family. And if there's anything that I could do to help get this project through, you got 100% of me, maybe 120 of me. I do what I can to help. And also, I'm just not getting physically and mentally able to do this. And what I had planned, what I'm planning now is to have a scholarship at Lawrence District 55 High School. I'm working on that now.
And there is a scholarship right now in Columbia.
At Spring Valley.
Where he was the head football coach, and they also won a state championship the same year that he passed. And I don't want to fail to mention the entire street that we're asking to be, for the name to be changed. There's a petition that has been signed by everyone that lives on that street, basically agreeing to it being changed to that name. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all coming and speaking with us tonight. We are sorry for your loss, but it really is inspiring to hear that you're committed not only to remembering your son and your father, but to turning that into a positive for others through scholarship. Really do applaud you with that, and thank you for that.
Thank you for your compassion.
Thank you.
We have no one else that has signed up, I don't believe, so that brings us to the end of the public comment period. We move on to the consent agenda. We have indicated a executive session item. I would ask for a motion to table that executive session as part of, as an amendment to the agenda before us tonight.
Motion, we accept the consent agenda as printed with the addendum to remove the executive session.
We have a motion from Councilor Lowry and a second from Councilor Miller. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of approval of the items on the consent agenda as amended, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. And the consent agenda is approved. That takes us to new business. The first matter before us is ordinance 9-23-01, which is an annexation for ordinance by way of 100% petition for 2 parcels of real property containing 8.31 acres. There is a plat for City Council to reference. This is almost adjacent to the new Peterson Grove subdivision, which is currently under construction. Mr. Administrator, outside of, I believe this comes to us by way of the Planning Commission with the support of the Planning Commission. So that is the ordinance before council. Are there any motions? I believe we had a motion being made, and I'll be glad to get to you. Ms. Miller?
I'll make a motion that we accept the first reading of the annexation. Petition for annexation. I can't read this name. But anyway, I make the motion that we accept.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. We have a motion and a second from Ms. Lattimore. Is there any discussion? Mr. Paul?
I was going to ask what was the number of the motion that we were reading. That's what I was going to ask, is, so I mean, I was going to make a motion, but I didn't know what I was going to be voting.
She beat you to it. So the ordinance before us would be 9-2301. Is there any discussion?
Now, exactly where does this ends? Where are we at now? And it goes all the way, it goes all the way to the red light?
So this would be just on the other side of Dean Drive. The Commission of Public Works is seeking to put a new water tower there. And so they're simply asking that it come into the city.
That's good.
That I know residents of West Lawrence have struggled with water pressure issues, and so this should greatly improve that situation. I'll say, for my part anyway, I appreciate CPW pursuing this and addressing this issue. Is there any further discussion?
Who owned all that property? Commission, they already own the property? Now so the commission's wanting to annex it.
Correct. CPW owns it, and they are the ones that
So it's on the property, okay.
I don't want to speak by saying
I will
that.
tell you that,
I don't know that the closing has happened on that. Is that correct?
Fred Wood owns the big orange part on the map, and then that is contiguous to the city. And the purple part is owned by CPW. They did a survey and carved out that part.
Right.
Water tower. So,
So it's gonna be where that purple is,
yes, ma'am.
I mean, the orange.
It's not gonna be in the orange. It's just gonna be where the purple area is.
Oh, on the little
The
corner.
orange is coming in just so it'll be contiguous with the city.
On the little corner.
In order to get one in, you sort of have to have the other.
So this also will be for the new housing development that's going, it won't have anything to do with that.
No, ma'am. From what I understand, this is simply for the purpose of contiguity so that the new water tower location touches the city limits. Yes, ma'am.
But now the houses on Dean Drive that faces that property there, are they coming into the city, or is that, you know, there's houses further on down there on Dean Drive? They're not coming in, because that line runs right side the back of their house, doesn't it?
Correct. So I believe what this does essentially is touch the portion that we already annexed in a couple years ago. But doesn't extend as far as where you're talking about, to answer your question more directly. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of passage of ordinance 92301, an annexation ordinance based upon 100% petition for 2 parcels on first reading, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the ordinance passes on first reading unanimously. Moving on to the next item of new business. There are 3 jobs in the city which city council has the authority to appoint. City administrator, city clerk, and city attorney. Council last year appointed an attorney who unfortunately subsequently found a position which better suited her and her family as county attorney in another part of the state. And so that position was open, and so it needed to be filled. We wished her well in that new position, but we wanted to have somebody that we could call upon for those needs. So in the interim, we've developed a relationship with Mr. Lawrence Flynn. He and his work do a significant amount of work for municipalities across the state. And in the many years since we had to deal with replacing city attorneys, that has become a more specialized field. And so Mr. Lawrence Flynn and his associates at the Pope Law Firm have been providing able service to us. And it is the request of the administrator and myself that City Council would formally appoint Lawrence Flynn and the associates of the Pope Law Firm to serve in that role for the city.
What is his name?
Lawrence Flynn, and his information is provided as part of your packet. He is a 2004 graduate of Duke University, and I hesitate to mention this in front of Martin, but he is a 2007 graduate of the University of South Carolina School of Law. He was admitted to practice back in 2007, and his particular concentration is on public finance. His father also worked in this area, and so it's something that I think it would be fair to say that he grew up with. And he's sort of recognized as a leader in this particular area of law across the state. We have the ability by working with him on a contractual basis to be able to use him as needed, but not be paying an ongoing salary, not be paying the employee benefits of having an on-staff attorney. And frankly, the going rate for city attorneys these days is pretty significant. I understand as the only attorney sitting on city council, I may have some insight into this, but I think he is well qualified, and I feel very comfortable relying on him for his knowledge. He was able to guide us through some of our discussions when it came to the general revenue bond and the bonds that were, the lease purchase bonds that we did to obtain our new garbage trucks and finance the construction of the streets and sanitation facility.
So, we're appointing him as our city attorney. Did we have any other applicants to apply?
None with anywhere near comparable qualifications. This was an open application process that was held some time ago. I wanted to bring this matter before council. I asked our administrator to put this on the agenda simply because it is a function that has been filled practically by Mr. Flynn, but city council has not formally taken action to appoint him. And it's not irreversible. If council wanted to replace him, we could certainly do that, but I felt it was important to bring this matter before council so that we could formally take action and sort of entrust him and his firm with the ability to act with that authority.
You saying you was all interim, so that's good. Got experience.
Has he been here before?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought so, but then I thought that he looked a little older.
Might be Photoshop.
Does he work with any other cities?
He does. I know he's worked with the city of Sumter, I believe, as I recall.
I know Landrum, I know Beaufort, he's worked with Beaufort.
A lot of the things that he has worked with municipalities are things that we would sort of see on our horizon. Being able to structure economic development.
Does he do ordinances?
He can.
Can I say what I like about him?
Yes, please.
So what,
No, you can't. Sorry, I'm not allowed to. I'm sorry.
what I like about the Pope Flynn Law Firm is there's an attorney for each subject matter in municipal law, which, you know, like the mayor said, it's getting hard to find a do-all person these days. So there's one person named C.D. Rhodes in that firm that does zoning that keeps us, keeps us out of trouble. There's one person that prosecutes our cases, and then there Lawrence, does like public finance and general counsel. So there's a lawyer for each subject area in that firm. So that's why I like to use them, because I know I'm getting really good advice.
So when we appoint him as the city attorney, then we're also getting some extra. I know we have to pay for that, but if we get some other, not just one person or one or two people, we get some.
I was very, I used the language advisedly, Lawrence Flynn and the associates of the Pope Law Firm.
Okay.
But city attorney, quote unquote, is an office under state law. It is the position that city council appoints. So because he is sort of a point person.
Where is he from? No, native Spartanburg. There you go, I asked a question.
And frankly, that's another advantage. I mean, he's handy if we need him.
You guys have to deal with it in the meeting, so I mean, I might ask a few questions, but I'll defer more to you guys.
Well,
Trust you guys.
So your question about whether or not he writes ordinances, different cities handle that differently. There may be relatively straightforward examples of ordinances where we can copy off the paper of our neighbors and we don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it doesn't take the city attorney to start from scratch. There may be something like an ordinance which would authorize the general obligation bond, which we wouldn't begin to want to tackle without a lot of time and effort and expertise. So he's helpful with that kind of thing.
But a bond attorney is kind of a different animal anyway, I mean, right?
But he has that experience.
But he does that.
Sort of one-stop shop.
They seem like well-rounded.
Are there any motions concerning the appointment of a city attorney?
You're aware of this already, it's already given. But we just wasn't aware of it. I'll make a motion that we appoint Lawrence Flame III.
Second.
Ms. Miller, would that be and the associates of the Pope Law Firm?
Associate, yeah.
I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second for Mr. Bolt. Is there any discussion?
With all of this in this firm, what kind of salary would they have with all these people doing all these different things?
So it's instead of a position with one salary and being employed by the city as an on-staff employee, the city's able to take advantage of doing this on an as-needed hourly basis. And Mr. Flynn's hourly rate may vary from one of his associates' rates, so it would just sort of depend. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of appointment of Lawrence Flynn and the associates of the Pope Law Firm as city attorney for the city of Lawrence, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. And that appointment is made unanimously. As indicated, there is no need for executive session. At this time, I will put City Council on notice that there may be need for a call meeting, but I'll try to look out for y'all's schedule absolutely best.
Well, you're leaving town soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I was fixing to say, you need to have a special meeting, you need to get it all worked out.
I will. We'll work just as fast as we can. All righty. So that brings us to the end of our agenda. And with that, I'll turn to our August.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjournment?
Can I say something?
We are adjourned. Yes, sir.
Since we're adjourned, I spoke with the family, with Mr. Peterson, and that's why we went outside for a second. I said, I have an alternative for you, if you would be happy with it. When we change street names, it creates a lot of unforeseen issues. How would you feel we rename one of these, or rename one of these new subdivision roads after Mr. Peterson? They were 100% on board and very happy. So, if council is okay with that, I think I highly recommend that.
Can I throw something out too? There may be some other people may be deserving. Before the streets get named, let's all of us think about some people. There's a lot of really, really good people that have left us in the last few years. And they don't have to have been gone to be named at the street, but definitely some people that have left us that deserve.
That was gonna be my thinking, because we knew.
I agree.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
I agree with what you said, but with this young man and with, they've been calling me and whatnot. But anyway, I think that what they want, the part of the cemetery that they want, named after him, it's not that bad. It's not that much. It's just that where he lived and where his mother lives now, or used to live. But I agree with what you said, Martin. There's a lot of people that have passed away in the last years, but they went to work right after he died and got the petition and everything. And I even went to DOT about it, see how we go about doing it. But anyway, I agree with what our city administrator said, that we look at what you said. Anybody else come forward, we'll have to do the same thing.
Well, you know, it would be my thinking, because, you know, we ran into a situation with renaming the street on South Harper Street. And we, you know, we gotta be real careful about naming one now when we turn one down.
Yeah, Counselor Kelly was, was a tough.
Exactly right, because that we did that, what I was told you.
We need to address a few things on that.
Okay.
Let's talk about it in regular order when it comes back before us, but, it sounds like there's plenty of room to make folks happy. Thanks, everyone.